Stacking Surfer. The life topic, I'm your best friend. Balances in your bank and stack. What's up, everybody? Stacking Surfer here, back with another awesome video about platinum. So, and we've got our guest here, Sean Precious Bullion, and I've got a link to his site down below here for you guys to go check it out. So definitely go and hit subscribe to his channel. And if you guys haven't subscribed to this channel yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe, the bell icon, and also the thumbs up. Great videos coming out to you guys. We spend a lot of time doing this, and we do it for you guys. It's really to kind of help you out with education. It's a little bit fun for us, but it's really to help you guys out. So today we're going to continue the conversation. If you haven't watched the first video, we'll have a link at the end for you to go back and watch that too. You can start here and you can go back there. You don't have to do it linear. But today we're going to talk a little bit more about why the price of platinum is where it's at today. We're going to talk about some of the factors that are affecting future price. We're going to talk about some of the form functions that the coins come in for platinum. And we're also going to talk about our strategy. What have we done in the past and what are we planning to do here in the future to give you guys just a little more idea of what we're doing with platinum. So let's get started with that, Sean. So first off, platinum right now is just a little under $900 an ounce. And as you mentioned in the previous video, platinum has a denomination mark of $100 US on it.
Right.
And gold has a denomination mark of $50 on it, yet it's trading at about $2,040. Mm-hmm. So not only is gold trading twice the value right now, more than twice the value of platinum, platinum should be trading about 4 times that. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But why is the platinum price so low right now? What are your thoughts?
I think it all kind of started back in 2008, honestly. If you got to look at anything that kind of as far as like when anything that goes so high, you got to think about what happened to make it drop so low. There's always that one domino that kind of starts the rest of the puzzle pieces kind of falling in place. But I think it was the initial banking crisis of 2008. I think that was the closest thing that this generation had to what I believe to be like any kind of fear of like the Great Depression happening in their lifetime. And it made it real for people. People are like, oh my God, we're about to lose everything. And it's real. And it's not a joke. It's not something in like comics and the Sunday paper. No, this is real life, people. We're 48 hours away at a couple rich people's decision as far as if we're going to be a nation or not. And, obviously we're still here, but you got to think about what happened then. A metal being 2290 at its peak back in 2008. Fast forward here we are now. What's that like? Not even 15, 16 years later, and the metal's worth $900. I don't even want to do the numbers top of my head. If that's a 60, 70%, decrease and all. But gold also too was nowhere near the price it was back then. I think what happened was people kind of got scared and kind of returned back to the original metal. Gold was being like one of the oldest metals everyone kind of known. It's been a metal, everyone's known, whether if you believe in it or not. It's been around since Christ walked the earth, and it's been before him. Some of the gold coins that have been carbon dated right now in places of like northern Turkey carbon date back to like 900 BC. So it's a metal that's always been trusted, and I think people just kind of turned their attention to what I thought was right now the only tier 1 asset in the world is gold. So I think it was just more of a shift. I think definitely as far as how people thought, as far as the relation of value to things. I think people just kind of became gold, since gold was mostly looked at more as a financial thing, whereas platinum was kind of more used as like an industrial and more of like a semi hedge against inflation, whereas gold was looked at more of like the solid, true, we're going to run to gold, and that's it. Which nothing beats gold, right? I think that's what kind of with the mindset.
It's kind of what I've done recently too. So I do think those are a lot of the factors that have affected it. we've had inflation really. Look, if we go back to 2008, we as a nation, as a country, we never really allowed everything to reset. We
True.
started bailing everything out in 2008 with all of these stimulus, or QE is what came out.
Correct.
Quantitative easing was this new concept that came out of the Fed. We're going to save everything by basically taking interest rates down to zero and pumping a lot of liquidity or debt into the market, which is essentially printing money, right? And so it started to get that engine moving, and it started to do a lot of things. And now we've come full circle. We've overdone it, and we've caused inflation. And so I think, to your point, I think a lot of people started seeing that happen multiple years ago. And
Yeah.
then even more so just in the last 12 months, they've really started to return to gold, and gold is holding its own pretty well. So I know a lot of people will say, "Hey, gold hasn't really jumped." Well, it's held itself pretty well. It's hit an all-time high. It's just a little bit below it.
Hmm.
And platinum has not held up as well. Even silver has not held up as well. And then I'm even looking at palladium has basically taken a complete dive. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is contrarian investing. Okay, so contrarian investing is looking at things that are not popular right now that people are walking away from that still have value that could go up significantly. So in general, right now, I would say that precious metals are a contrarian investment. A lot of people have moved over to cryptocurrencies and to Bitcoin. A lot of people have moved into bonds right now, and they've moved into high yield savings accounts where they can get 5.5% interest. And so a lot of people have moved out of the precious metals, and that's interesting because we've also seen an all-time high of gold. But there's very few people, very small percentage of the country that really is investing in gold and silver today. It's going to be up to you to make a determination on whether you're going to invest or stack metals in the first place, and
Hmm.
which ones are going to be best for your portfolio. And we'll talk a little bit more about that if you wait until the end.
I do see an upside to platinum just as much as I see an upside to silver. If we're talking about like all-time highs, I mean silver's about less than half of what its all-time high was, and right now, um, same thing goes for platinum. It's a little less than half of what it was at its all-time high. Both applications are used for multiple different things. Obviously, they're going to need it for the future. With platinum being 100 times more rare, I just see it just having I don't know, I guess yeah, they're hold on, cut. I do see it having the potential upsides. If you look at silver, silver is right now sitting at really half of what it used to be its all time high. Same thing goes for platinum. Everything just from just the scarcity of the metal to what's going to be needed in the future, what they're calling for. I mean, you got places like the World Economic Forum saying by 2030 or whatever, we're going to be carbon neutral. So, okay, well, everything's not going to be powered by gas. How it's going to be powered? How are we going to have mobility? If it's all going to be, just electrical stuff that's going to be powered and generated by minerals, they're going to need it. So, like I said before in the first video, if 3 to 7 grams of platinum is used for average vehicle, but these fusion batteries that they're going to need further up in cars is going to take about 60 to 70 grams. It's just natural numbers. Um, I think of it also because there's just a lot of upside for it because it just um, so many different factors, honestly. And again, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a platinum expert. I'm not a financial expert. It's just me willing to look at a bigger picture. The fact that I'm even like dipping into platinum is again
Mhm.
is it again is like is rare because you're talking earlier about the majority of people don't even stack gold and silver. I would say right now, the honest opinion, it'd be about 2 to 3% of the entire country, if not the entire world, stacks gold and silver. And within that 2 to 3% of the people that stack the country, I mean, sorry, 2 to 3% of the people within our country that actually do stack precious metals, I'd be willing to say that less than 5 to 10% of those people even are even thinking about putting platinum in their stack. Um,
So I'd agree with that. The numbers I've seen are about 10% of the households have some silver and gold outside of jewelry.
mm,
A lot of them don't know they have it, right? It's coins that they've been given from grandma and grandpa, It's not some, they're not stackers. They're not actively looking at it, but it is sitting
Silverware
around
they
the
inherited,
house.
stuff like that. Yeah,
It's closer to 2 to 3% of the people that are actually actively buying or are aware that they have the metals,
right.
and they're doing some form of investing or stacking. And so, to your point, we're looking at maybe 0.1% of the people that are even touching platinum. Sean, is it safe to say that the potential for platinum could be doubling your money? Could platinum go back and return to its all-time high again?
I think you could quadruple your money, honestly.
Quadruple, okay.
And I
Tell
think
me.
that's a rare stretch. And again, don't go out and start throwing all your money on, platinum, the platinum horse to win show it all. Again, we're not trying to we're just what you guys to,
These
maybe
are possibilities. These are not where,
yeah,
probability is
again,
probably pretty
everyone
slim.
says, "Oh, silver's gonna be $700." We don't
Yeah.
have a crystal ball. I'm not from the future. I know I look like I'm from the future and stuff, but I'm not. I call myself Nostradamus, some joke, but this is just my observations through my 12 years of my journey of just precious metals and me just being an earth watcher the last
Yeah.
basically 7 years
Wait.
and kind of know what's
So,
going
Sean,
on.
I like to look at two things. I like to look at possibilities and then probabilities.
Correct.
So when I look at this, I think the possibility of it going from $900 up to to
30 and a
eighteen
half
hundred
thousand.
dollars, 2,000, I think is very possible for it to hit its to hit that number. That's not even the all
Mhm.
time high. Um, if things get stabilized and we're not dealing with a lot of hyperinflation where people are flocking to gold, which right now it's hard to see where that time would be because I think we're about to hit into a whole nother wave of inflation. I think it's going to be worse than the last one we had. And I think we'll probably even get a third one after that that will be even worse than the second one. At least that's traditionally what's happened. It's what happened in the 70s and the 80s. And we've done even more printing than they did there. And we have not raised interest rates high enough to really stop inflation in its tracks. Right now, everybody thinks it's gone. It's not really gone.
No,
So when I look at platinum though, if it has the potential of equalizing itself to gold in the future, where it's worth twice as much as gold, then I guess it could have that potential of hitting, $4,000, $5,000, somewhere in that range based on today's, price.
just
So I think
and
that's
the face
crazy.
value, everything. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, what if you bought something for 900 and it went up to 4 or $5,000 would be pretty crazy. So
winning, you're
yeah, the
winning.
caveat I'll say is this is highly speculative, guys. So I purchased 2 ounces of platinum in the past. I bought them in at Black Friday of 2022, and I think I paid right around $1,000 for them with the premium.
Mm,
And if I'm remembering correctly, and I think it was spot that I bought them at. I believe it was a spot deal at AppNext. And then I turned around in the middle of the year of 2023. I had a flood in my house, and uh, I had to basically pay for it for myself. And one of the things I don't think is a smart move is to go into debt to hold metals. So I hold metals as savings, and when I need to, I sell them when I have emergencies. It's part of what their purpose is. So I opted to sell my platinum coins to help pay for this flood, and I was able to make $100 per coin.
okay,
So my opinion when it comes to metals is I didn't really make $100, right? It's just the metal went up in value by $100 based on the price of the dollar at the time. So, but it was $100 more in my pocket, so to speak, and so I sold those, and I felt pretty good about that. Oftentimes, people go below it. Now, had I bought them not on at spot, I would have either broken. I think I would have broken even on them. So one thing just to throw out there is definitely look for good deals that are out there when you're doing things. But um, now I'm kind of considering maybe going back into platinum because of the price point where it's at now. So I can even buy it below a lower price than I did before, even when I was buying it at spot. Um, but my question to you is, since you've done more purchasing of platinum coins than I have in the past, do you think it's smart to buy a 1 ounce, or do you think it's maybe better to start off with like a fractional size, like a half or a quarter, or a tenth of an ounce?
it's a great question. I think it all depends. It definitely it depends on the individual. We got to remember when we first got into this whole thing, precious metals or any investment, there's always that hesitation. right? There's always I'm taking my hard-earned money and putting in something that I'm not completely sure about with hopes and turns that I don't lose money. That's what everybody's mindset is, right? Basically. Um, so obviously when they started doing the silver and gold, it's a little, I don't know, but by doing it over time, you realize this is a good thing. When it comes to platinum, as far as a new stacker goes, I would not go to platinum, and here's why I'm saying. I think it depends on your overall budget and how much you're willing to spend, because right now it's easier for people just to buy 1 ounce of silver versus an ounce of anything else. Right
Well,
now,
and I think it's
25.
easier to sell them as well.
Correct. It's easier to sell, flip, recognize everything, all the different pros and cons about it. It's much easier. $25 gets you an ounce of silver right now, where if you want to buy an ounce of platinum, it's going to run you about 1,015, depending on where you buy it on. Um, Depending on how your thoughts on it, if you're like, I'm going to go all in and stuff. Again, we're not here to try to influence anybody or stop anybody. It's more of just try to make sure you don't leave yourself with no money at the end. Be smart. Don't put all your money in one basket, stuff like that. Diversify your portfolio. I think if you're getting into platinum, I think if you wanted to try to buy it as far as the best like dollar cost value, obviously buying the bigger the coin, you're going to save more on the premium. But if someone says that I don't have Sean $1,000 to go spend an ounce, I have got like maybe $400 that I'm willing to go like throw somewhere and see what happens, then I would say, okay, maybe go pick up a quarter ounce eagle. You might be able to get one of those for like 355 or something like that. Or even the half ounce is a good buy. I think that the premium is a little bit more reasonable at the quarter ounce and the half ounce and the 1 ounce level than the 10th ounce. I think that the premium on the 10th ounce is a little bit higher than the premium is on gold in the 10th ounce. So let's just put it that way.
Yep.
Again, it's a rare metal. It's gonna the smaller the piece, it's gonna require more processing. They're just gonna put that like anything else. Is it they may make a 10th ounce gold? It's gonna require more processing. They're gonna be able to put a higher platinum premium on it. Um, so for the beginners, I would say obviously saving up to get that bigger piece is going to save you money. But if you kind of wanted just to have a piece to kind of mess around with, honestly. The 10th ounce kookaburras are, in my opinion, a great way to start. You get your
Yep.
collectible value in them, you get your government mintage in there, and it's a really pretty coin, honestly. This is the 1 ounce. This is the 1 ounce here, so you can kind of just see for size difference of them. This is a 1 ounce Australian platypus, and then these are the 10th ounce kookaburras. You can usually find these at your local coin store. Maybe you get a good deal online and might be able to buy these for about anywhere between, I would say, $135 to $145 per 10th ounce, depending on how your taxing in your state goes, and your shipping fees will obviously come into play. But it's a way of getting a coin. The kookaburras only make 15,000 per year, and they only will make 15,000 per year as they change the years.
For me, I'm starting to think about maybe adding some platinum. One, I've hit my initial goal with gold, so I feel like I've been able to protect my wealth with gold.
Nice.
I'm stacking up a little bit more on silver now, and I'm starting to move out of more collectible coins like Star Wars Beskar bars and other things like that, where I have maybe too many of them, right? So I'm selling those on eBay to people that may not have them that are still looking for them, and I'm getting more weight in silver. And a lot of what I'm moving over to is junk or constitutional silver, as well as silver eagles right now, I think are a great buy. So I'm starting to stock up on a little bit more of that. And to me, really, silver is a way to use metals as money potentially in
Hmm.
the future. It's also a way to lock in some of my savings. And there is an element of speculation to it too, where silver is not right now at its all-time high, and it's also sitting at about a ratio of 90 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold, so it's very high. So I think silver is a better buy right now than gold is. And that is unless you don't have any gold. And if you have some wealth to protect, I think you should definitely have some gold for that because it is the best hedge. So I'm starting to get to that point where I can probably be comfortable thinking about doing a little bit of investing in platinum or a little bit of stacking in platinum, especially if I'm looking at the smaller denominations, because I feel like I've met my gold goal, and on my silver goal, I'm getting pretty close to it.
Mm.
For those of you that are just starting out, like Sean mentioned, I really wouldn't look at platinum until you feel like you have a pretty good stack of silver and a pretty good stack of gold. So, in my opinion, I think gold, you've got to be looking into multiple ounces of gold that you have. And I think when you look at silver, you're talking hundreds of ounces before, in my opinion, I would really consider looking at platinum.
I would say have
Now,
at least 500
yeah,
ounces of silver before you start looking at platinum.
that's probably a safe bet. And then I would be looking at small increments of platinum, and it's something that really you may have to hold on for a lot longer than you're anticipating holding gold and silver. If you're a strict stacker and you're just planning on holding it forever, great. Get some, hold on to it. It's going to be great. What I will tell you though, as someone that planned on doing that, but also like some of the collectibles,
Hmm.
I have had a few emergency situations that have mounted one after another where I've had to turn around and sell some of my metals. And I'm really
Same
glad
here.
I bought them the way I did because I haven't lost money in the process. So look for the deals out there. Look for Black Friday deals when we get to that point in time.
Hmm.
Look for the deals that are coming from online bullion dealers throughout the week. They'll have special deals, and then also talk to your LCS about it. And then a lot of it's building community and networks. So, for example, if Sean is looking to sell a platinum coin or a gold eagle, he's a friend of mine. I could talk to him. He could talk to me. We could decide to do a trade or make a good deal where I'm paying less than I would at an online bullion store, and he's getting more than if he were to sell to an online bullion store. So there are ways
Absolutely.
that you guys can definitely take advantage of that. So, Sean, I want to thank you, and I look forward to us putting together the next Platinum video. And I want to thank everybody for coming out. Please take a look at this video here. This is Platinum 101 that we did earlier. And then this video over here is going to talk a little bit more about, I don't know, maybe it'll be in different places, but this other video is going to talk a little bit more about the Gold 101 or Gold University series that I think you guys will enjoy a lot. So until next time, peace out.